Welcome to the What Happens Next YouTube channel. What we're aiming to do with this channel is share content designed to make sure that you're supported through whatever's next in your life. And we'd love to continue to do that. I've got a favour to ask today, and what I'd ask you to do is just subscribe. It costs you nothing, but it really helps us deliver really good quality content on a consistent basis. Thank you, and let's go on to the interview. So help me understand then. So this channel, What Happens Next, and this project is all about helping people at that crossroads think about what they might want to do next, particularly if they're making drastic changes to career and life in their 50s and 60s. That's what we're about. And if you've got a story about this, that would be amazing.
Yeah.
How do we potentially use motivational maps to hold up that mirror about what we might want to do next?
Yeah. So thank you for asking that, Chris, because I had somebody asked me to see a lady who happened to be a deputy head teacher. And she had been diagnosed with anxiety and depression and was signed off sick. And I was asked to do a map on her because I knew her husband, and he was, as you can imagine, extremely concerned about her. Now, when she came to see me, she predisposed with anxiety and depression. So if she sat in front of a general practitioner, you could understand why. You know, she was tearful, she was emotional, but what was really interesting, Chris, is that when she did her map profile, her percentage score out of 100 was 66%. So when I'm looking at her, I can see why clinically and understand why she was feeling like she was feeling. But I'm looking at this sheet of paper thinking, she's 66% motivated. What's going on here? So this is where the questions start. And she told me that, you know, the anxiety starts when she goes to a head teacher's meeting, because the head teacher keeps saying, this is going to be your new head one day. She'd gone off and done the head teacher's training, and her words to me were, I hated every minute of it, Jane. I knew this is not what I wanted to do. And so the panic attack, the fight and flight response that kicks in, was starting originally, say, a couple of hours before the meeting. Then it started to be a couple of days, and then it was just completely taking over her life. But what she told me, Chris, is that she said, I've looked at other jobs. I've looked at, maybe I'll go work in a retail store or whatever. But she said, Jane, it's not in my heart. I know what I want to do, but I also know what I don't want to do. And I said, there's your answer.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, we started to talk. Because her motivational score was 66%, I was able to ask, questions that possibly I wouldn't have asked at that stage. So with the maps, it gives me a picture of what's happening and gives me some really good information to ask those questions before I see that person. And at the end of it, and at the end of that hour, she basically said to me, I know what I've got to do. And she was going to actually take the whole of the term off school to just try and find herself, understand what she needed, what she required. And she said, I've got to go home. I've got to tell my family I do not want to be a head teacher. I've got to tell my head teacher and the governors that's not what I want to be. And she was back in school within 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And the panic attack stopped.
Yeah.
And then we looked at, in the next session, we looked at what actually does she want to do. And again, her friend motivator, was up there, a belonging, her searcher motivator, making a difference. She wanted to provide something that was worthwhile. And her idea was actually to become a mentor of new teachers in the profession. And that's what she did. And now that's what she does now. She goes out and she works with new teachers in different schools. And that was one session, Chris, that we found all of that out.
I love that.